My boys, and again I talk about Elon for example, it's not only Elon, had an idea, for example, to build a rocket. The people laughed at him. The newspapers said he's an idiot. And I even complained to one newspaper for calling my son an idiot. And they said he's going to lose everything he's got and da. Of course, they were not right. In 2 months' time, the IPO for SpaceX will be the biggest IPO in the history of the world. So, everyone who attempts to do something differently will be told by the older generation or the older people or the more conventional people or even your school teachers will tell you, no, you can't do that. So if you take this question of gravity that I was talking about, if you were to leave today and go back to your family and you've got a son or a daughter or a brother or even a mother or a father who works at a university or is taking a course at a university, and you say that you saw this guy say that we need to study gravity, those people who have been conventionally educated will tell you, oh no, that guy is talking rubbish. No, that can't be done. And you might say to them, but why do you say that? And they say, no, we know, I know. At my university, they told me, no, you can't do that. So that's what you'll be told. You might argue and say, but this other guy says you can start looking at that. And they'd say, no, he's very stupid.
Including freedom,
yes.
With a single statement. So do you think he fully realizes the scale of that power? Or is it just a natural part of the game for him?
No, he realizes the full nature of that power. And it was 10 years ago that Forbes stated that Elon has 4 times more influence than Warren Buffett and 8 times more influence than Bill Gates and so forth. And now I would imagine he has even more influence. And it wasn't long ago that Elon, in trying to find a way forward for Tesla, because Tesla has not been easy. It hasn't been a case of simply easy. It's been difficult. And with a lot of people, a lot of the regulations against electric cars, which we don't have so much anymore to worry about. But at times in the past, he has struggled. And on one occasion, he said in a tweet or in a comment that became public, I feel like taking Tesla private again. For that, he was fined $40 million by the SEC. Tesla itself was fined $20 million. And to everyone's terrible disappointment and unhappiness, we actually paid it. So he knows that you cannot say things about other people's products or his own products without affecting the markets.
Thank you.
To using gravity to leave the Earth, to be able to leave the Earth. With the understanding of gravity, we would be able to understand also the fourth dimension, which is space-time. We need to move into a new technology. Now, when I mention this new technology, you have to realize that it would be the same as if you were people in 1825 and you're all steam aficionados, you're all steam scientists, and you're all out for steam power. And I would be, in those days, one of the crazies who would be telling you there is an earth fluid that we should find. We see it in lightning and it flows in the earth. But in those days, just as you might now say to me, forget about gravity, people in those days would say to the earth fluid people, you need to be in a lunatic asylum. But in due course, we found the earth fluid. The earth fluid, of course, was simply electricity. So, in that sense, we must now turn our minds to looking at gravity and understanding how it works, how it draws us to Earth, how we can use it to escape from Earth, how we can use it to get into the fourth dimension. And in that respect, I would point out to you the strange conundrum of light. We are told light takes 8 minutes to reach us from the sun. We are told light takes 4 years to reach us from the nearest star. In reality, if you ask any physicist, he will tell you no, light is emitted at the nearest star and absorbed on Earth in the same instant. There is no travel. But because we are limited to 3 dimensions, we can only think of it as traveling through space. And that is how we will need to be traveling in future, for us to be able to move to the stars, to the nearest planets perhaps, and of course, and to later on to move to the stars. So that at some future time, just as I might leave, or any of you might leave your home this morning, say to your wife or your husband, I'm off to Paris, I'll be back for supper, make sure this is on the stove when I get back, so and your partner says, no problem, and off you go to Paris, and you come back this afternoon. Anybody who told someone back in 1925 or 1825 that you're going to do such a thing would think you must be crazy. But in 100 years from now, it's very likely, very, very likely, that people, youngsters, young boys, young children, will not know about vehicles that go on the ground with wheels. One little boy might say to another, 100 years from now, my grandfather told me that 100 years ago, people went about in little metal cubicles on wheels, and they would go around everywhere on wheels. And the other little boy would say, oh no, I can't believe that. Surely they would bump into each other. No, says the other little boy, they'll have rules to stop bumping into each other. Oh, I don't believe that. So that's what we must look to the future about. About a year ago, early last year, I was approached by a group. I knew the word longevity, but I wasn't sure what it really meant. It soon turned out to mean the length of time that a species is able to live. The human being is supposed to live 70 years and 10, which is 70 years. As it happens, I'm 80 next month, so I'm past my use-by date. But
by the way, нам бы всем выглядеть так, как он в его 80. By the way, and I said that I wish all of us could look as good as you when we are 80.
Thank you. Anyway, so longevity is the span of human, we can look at it also as a span of human life. And last year I was contacted, early last year, by a company explaining to me they have a longevity clinic and would I be interested in entering their program. And this was in Northern California, and I agreed. And so I went to this longevity institute, and over a period of a month they explained to me the techniques and the methods they are using, and how they propose that human life should be 120 years. As they put it, 120 years should be the normal lifespan of a human being. And to add some kind of sense to that, it's important to, as I was told, to understand that before the First World War in 1914, up to 1914, the average age of a European woman, the average lifespan of a European woman was 39. So some women 37, some women 38, some women 39, some women 40, 41, but the average lifespan in Europe was 39 years for a woman. In the longevity clinics, which are becoming much cheaper or less expensive and less expensive to attend, at the moment, last year it was costing an individual $2,000 US to be tested at a longevity clinic. This is a whole day of tests in machines and mapping of your DNA, mapping of your chromosome, and all that kind of thing, where they are able to analyze it in the days that follow, or the weeks that follow, and then after a period of time, get hold of you and tell you, this is what your problem is going to be. They recommend that people should start the test at the age of 14, and that you should have the test every year. Once a year, and you should start at the age of 14. And they will be able to pinpoint your weaknesses or diseases that you may be prone to at some later stage. And more and more and more. I'm not an expert. I'm simply telling you what they told me. And they asked me if I was happy to continue with their system, their program. I said, yes, I will do it. And so they told me what I should not be eating, what I should be eating, what supplements I need, and so forth. So for the last year or so, I have been following that program. And I must say I feel pretty good on it. And I can add that Chinese scientists said to me, there are many Chinese scientists in Northern California, they are doing this in China as well, that the cost of these tests, the longevity examination, in a short time will be as little as $100. So making it very affordable for the ordinary person.
That is very, very cool. This is awesome, right? So what we can do? Okay, we need to bring crypto into it, right? We are on the crypto event.
No, no.
All right. Now, and I keep asking you this: do you think crypto is a future of money?
Well, you know, obviously, crypto has got all the world off balance. You know, the whole world is off balance because of crypto. I'm talking about all the ordinary people. I try to get, in my own small way, a payment made, and I have trouble, and then my crypto friends say to me, what are you doing? Do it with crypto.
That's right, especially for anything between this country and the rest of the world, you know, so it's, the bankers and the politics has made it very difficult to do.
Yes.
So now we've got one thing, also in Africa, where a lot of people, we've got 1.8 billion people in Africa, unable to receive sometimes payments or transact between each other because the banks are making it difficult for them.
Very difficult.
Very difficult, and that's why crypto, for people like that, for a massive plus of people, that's a quarter of the world's population, now have the ability to transact with crypto. So to actually join the world's financial system. This is awesome. And well, that's my personal opinion. I'm sure you agree with me that this gives those people a chance. And remember how we spoke about Faraday, and we said that definitely there's going to be someone there, right, that we don't even know, who's going to be like Faraday, make a discovery of something very monumental that we don't yet know.
Yes.
And the thing is, with crypto, for example, it enables people to do that. Because if we consider Africa, right? Africa is where you live. If we consider Africa, then it is possible that the next genius is probably too busy sitting there trying to get a bus fare to get to the city where he will be discovered. You know, and he's too busy trying to provide for his family, and the banking system is not there enough, and it's not there to basically to allow him to do it. And the way I look at crypto, and I'm sure most of the audience
It revolves around finance. I can only imagine as an individual and with my own experience that the big banking giants must be pretty worried about crypto.
they are,
As
and they're joining it.
will
They already are.
will ruin the control they have over nations, over people.